Welcome back. Following up on the super secret search questions, we will now be discussing why recruiters don't submit candidates to multiple companies.
So that was really great advice, David. I've always wondered about, how the inner workings of the recruiting world worked and the, I guess, the secrecy that is necessarily involved. You're right, litigation, technology, e-discovery, we're billions and billions of dollars as far as industry is concerned, but we are a very small narrow part of the overall IT sector. So everybody knows everybody, or you're two or three people away from knowing someone. So that totally makes sense now to me. I have another question for you, though.
Sure.
Why won't the recruiter submit me or submit a candidate to other companies and other jobs? That actually was something that I used to wonder back when earlier in my career when I was working with executive recruiters.
Okay. Well, to answer that question, I briefly touched on that in the last segment when I mentioned that we can only have a limited amount of client companies because we can't really poach out of other client companies when we have an opening. There are some other things going on that you may not be aware of. A lot of times we're just really busy with current clients. We may have one client that's asked us to find a whole bunch of people for them, and our interviews are usually, at least for me, about 30 minutes. So if I talk to 3, 4, 5, 6 candidates in a day for 30 minutes at a time, and I'm working on multiple roles, I just personally don't have the bandwidth to take on additional clients. So I might not have other clients that I'm working with at that time because I'm using all my time to interview candidates for a particular, one particular client.
Gotcha.
So it would be nice if we were working with every company out there, but we have to do sales and develop that business and forge those relationships, and that can be time consuming, especially if it's a large company, getting the contract approved, getting on their approved vendor list. So there's a lot of reasons, but rest assured, if we have multiple clients in an area in which you are looking for a position and we have the opportunity to ethically send you to all of those companies, then by all means, we can definitely submit a candidate to multiple companies. There's just a lot going on with, our time constraints and interfering with other clients that kind of prevent us from doing those things. And I understand it can be a little confusing from the candidate standpoint, but at the end of the day, the clients do pay our fees, so we are working on projects for those clients, and that's really kind of where our time has to go.
That's a really good point. That who is your actual customer, and your customer is not me as the candidate. Your customer is the corporation or company that you're servicing to fill a role for. So I think that's
and we wouldn't do anything without the good candidates. And a lot of times, when I do have a good candidate, I will what I call skill marketing. I will even call on a previous client, an existing client that may not be looking for someone, at least that I know of currently, or go after new clients. So sometimes we will work with a candidate who's very strong and try to market their background, to clients to try and develop an opening. So we do that if we can and if we've got the time, but we definitely appreciate where the candidates are coming from, and we understand that it can be frustrating when you're looking for a job, but at the end of the day, you just got to kind of get out there and talk to as many people as you can. And if the recruiter you're working with doesn't have other opportunities, there are other legal tech recruiters out there and no one's working with every company. So you can work with a couple of recruiters and you're not really, it's not going to prevent you from being able to work with recruiter A if you're working with recruiter B, because most of the time we do have different clients.
Oh, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Thanks, David. That cleared a lot of things up for me.
Well, good. I'm glad.
I'd like to thank Erica Santiago for joining us on this first series of our Legal Tech Q&A. Stay tuned for new sessions coming up soon.